And we open with a bang. Our boy, Kwon Daegun, isn't here to make friends. Every punch is precise, powerful, and calculated to shatter bone. This red-haired punk on the receiving end, he probably didn't even see it coming before he was airborne. Look at those eyes, cold and mechanical. This isn't a fight. It's a unilateral disassembly. It's like our guy has a supercomputer for a brain, analyzing every weak point in an instant. To him, this kid is just a walking punching bag. There's no point in fighting anymore. Daegun's voice is chillingly calm. That's not a suggestion to surrender. It's a final judgment. One punch, then another, methodically breaking his opponents will fight. The power gap is so massive that any resistance is just pathetic. Still going? He doesn't even bother to raise his voice. The casual question carries more weight than any shout ever could. The red-haired guy is broken, curled up on the floor, the will to even stand completely gone. Mission accomplished. But then, the scene shifts to a different picture of despair. A muscular dude, completely overpowered by a mysterious man in a suit, his eyes filled with tears of humiliation. A thick rope is presented, along with a cold declaration. This, right here, is the essence of the project, using overwhelming force to control the uncontrollable. Back in school, students are still chatting about a brief power outage, completely clueless. That is, until someone glances out the window and their jaw hits the floor. Guys, look, is that Daegun? The same thugs who were acting all high and mighty are now tied up like a string of sausages. Kwon Daegun has just announced his arrival in the most spectacular way possible. But his work is far from over. He finds a girl tied to a tree, bruised and on the verge of breaking down. She sees Daegun like he's her last hope, but her rage is directed at another man kneeling beside her. Pervert. Scum. Daegun just watches silently. He knows the problems he has to solve are far more complex than just knocking out a few punks. As night falls, the real players enter the game. This guy in a suit has a completely different aura. We should have a nice, friendly chat, just as promised. But every word is laced with threat. Who the hell are you? Daegun's gaze sharpens. He knows this man is from a higher tier of the food chain. What you should be curious about is why I'm after you. The suit gets straight to the point, mentioning an organization called the Mud Club. Turns out, the guys Daegun took down were connected. But this man claims he's acting alone. Proof. A psychological battle of conspiracy and trust has just begun. The conversation shifts to something almost metaphysical. Immersion. It seems to be the source of their power. The woman claims Daegun's immersion was a natural awakening, while theirs might be a cheap imitation, a fake achieved through external means. Daegun scoffs. True power is the unity of mind and body, not a state you can reach just by popping some pills. Immersion isn't just about mental focus, it's about physical synchronization. The brain sends a signal, and every nerve and muscle responds in perfect harmony, unleashing 100% of one's potential. It sounds like the ultimate technique from fighting manga. For Daegun, it's instinct. For others, it's a steep cliff to climb. Their immersion is like a flame. The process of entering it is called ignition. But what if, at that critical moment right before the fire truly catches, in that hottest, most unstable state, you force an explosion? A crazy, dangerous idea hangs in the air. And the one who made this insane idea possible is a man named Park Hee-jun. He apparently developed some kind of awakening agent, allowing even ordinary people to achieve a faux awakening. There's clearly a massive conspiracy brewing beneath the surface. The power games are far more complex than just trading punches. Some compare immersion to climbing a mountain. Once you reach the peak, the only way is down. When a fighter believes they've reached their zenith with nothing left to conquer, their fighting spirit begins to fade. It's a common disease among the strong, and it's also their most fatal weakness. But things are different now. When lighting the fire is no longer a special skill, you have to make your flame burn bigger and brighter. Otherwise, you'll be swallowed by someone else's. For Daegun, the challenge is endless. He's not at the peak. He hasn't even seen where the real summit is. The story's undercurrent flows to a place called the Gamcheon Orphanage. Just like the unseen rivers flowing beneath the city, all the dirty, filthy groundwater ends up in one place. And that place is called the floor. And here, an organization known as the Gamcheon cult emerges from the shadows. Leader Kim Chun, number 2 Sung Moo, number 3 Ball Mang. They're the rulers of the floor, a pack of demons who clawed their way out of the mud, each one radiating a dangerous and twisted aura. Everyone's gone through school, right? Kim Chun's smile is playful, yet unsettling. School, a place that's supposed to be innocent, sounds like just another jungle battlefield coming from her. A new storm is brewing over this high school. Daegun tries to get intel on Park Hee-jun from some small fry, but the guy's clearly not cooperating. Well, so much for talking. Daegun's fists are his most effective form of communication. He's about to make it very clear that putting on a tough act in front of him is a big mistake. Suddenly, a street attack. A masked man with a knife. Every move meant to kill. This guy is clearly a professional. In the nick of time, Daegun blocks the attack with an extendable baton. A duel in the dark, ready to ignite at any second. He tried to stab her from the back. The students are freaking out, but Daegun stands like an unbreakable wall in front of everyone. He's the designated bully, but when real danger appears, he becomes the sole protector. The irony is as sharp as it is badass. Daegun calmly analyzes his opponent. The knife is a micro tap hill 06, not something your average street thug carries. The attacker's movements are trained, professional. This isn't a random mugging, it's a planned assassination. And the target is the female student right behind him. The fight ends cleanly. The attacker is sent flying like a rag doll, completely helpless. Daegun stands in the rainy night, his expression unchanged. For him, this was just taking out the trash. But the girl next to him is stunned, shocked by his overwhelming power and ice-cold demeanor. The attacker escapes, leaving behind a mess of questions. What the hell was that just now? The students are still shaken. All they saw was a black-clad figure appear and disappear in a flash. They have no idea they just brushed past a deadly conspiracy. Are you finished with things on your end? His companion asks after the dust settles. Daegun shakes his head. He couldn't get any important information about Park Hee-jun from the attacker. The trail went cold, but he knows he might not get another chance like this again. He needs to be more proactive. Just then, his phone starts blowing up with calls from the chairman. Looks like the higher-ups have taken notice of the attack. At the same time, other factions within the school are getting wary. Daegun's arrival is like a stone thrown into a calm lake, and the ripples are starting to spread. You know, I have a special technique for watching two targets at once. His red-haired friend cracks a lame joke, trying to lighten the mood. But Daegun's mind is already somewhere deeper, somewhere darker. A much bigger storm is on the horizon. We cut to the Gapshin Orphanage, where Kim Chun is teaching her students. On the blackboard is a ladder game. Too simple, right? Even without following the line, we can predict the result. There's a hidden meaning in her words. This isn't just a game. It's a lesson on foresight. Foresight, the ability to predict the future by gathering current information. It's how humanity climbed to the top of the food chain. But what if there were other beings with foresight comparable to ours, who also possessed far greater physical strength? The thought alone makes the air heavy. The result was survival of the fittest. All similar races disappeared except for ours. This brutal law of nature is the creed of the Gapshin cult. And now, they want to break past human limits to gain even greater foresight. They want to create a new species. Think I came here to play games? One of the students sneers, clearly unimpressed by the theoretical lecture. But Kim Chun just smiles. She knows that to tame these wild beasts, words aren't enough. She'll have to show them what real power looks like. You beggars here aren't even treated like humans. The instructor's words are sharp, designed to provoke. I'm asking you to become something that surpasses normal humans. Here, humanity is something to be discarded. Power is the only currency. Evolve or be eliminated. Meanwhile, Daegun and his companions seem to be in trouble of their own. The appearance of an unexpected guest puts him on high alert. Why is this bastard here? Isn't he part of Loki's family? It seems a power shift is happening within the organization. From now on, the erasers are to be managed by the Southern Soul Branch. A single order shatters the old balance. The erasers were supposed to be independent, bound to no branch, and now they're being absorbed. This is a blatant power grab. What the fuck are you saying, you dumb fuck? An internal conflict has just erupted. The tension is getting thicker. The car is cramped, but the hostility is growing exponentially. A crushed syringe on the floor hints at a nasty struggle that just took place. Daegun's gaze remains cold as ice. He knows this car ride isn't going to have a peaceful ending. And there it is. A madman raises a hammer, a grotesque grin plastered on his face. A bloody party is about to kick off in the confined space of the car. Tonight, nobody gets to be a bystander. The steering wheel is smashed, and the car instantly turns into a war zone. The attackers thought they had it in the bag, flashing crazed smiles. But they underestimated their targets. The next second, the counterattack begins. Daegun and his companions move like lightning, fists, feet, and weapons clashing in a deadly dance. The chaos escalates into a high-speed chase. A black sedan careens through the city night, tires screaming against the pavement. This isn't a movie, it's a real-life death race. Every collision could be the last. The fight spills from inside the car to the streets. Daegun, a cigarette dangling from his lips, calmly dispatches one goon after another. Not a single wasted motion. Every strike is precise and lethal. To him, this is just a warm-up. Inside the car, the red-haired girl watches the man beside her with awe. One moment, he's a ruthless fighter. The next, he's like a detective, intently observing something with a camera. Just how many secrets is this man, Kwon Daegun, hiding? Finally, one of the masterminds makes an appearance. A man calling himself Loki Jang, oozing with arrogance. But how long can that arrogance last when he's face-to-face with Daegun? The answer? Not even for a second. Daegun doesn't even give him a chance to draw his weapon. A fluid sequence of attacks leaves the guy completely defenseless. In the face of absolute speed and power, all tricks are useless. Daegun's kicks are like battle axes, each one carrying immense force. His opponent is sent flying before he can even swing his hammer. This is Kwon Daegun in his immersion state, a merciless fighting machine. What's with your reaction speed? Daegun's tone is full of disappointment, like he's watching a toddler struggle to walk. Balance is horrible too. It's not a taunt. It's a statement of fact. He can't even be bothered to consider this guy a worthy opponent. Go and tell Jang Sungrok that he needs to use his head if he wants to use his body efficiently. With that, Daegun kicks him off the bridge. He shows no mercy to his enemies. This is his way of sending a message to all potential threats. Don't mess with me. Back in the car, the atmosphere tenses up again. The driver, another member of the organization, is furious at Daegun's unilateral actions. I tried to stop you, but you ignored me. Too bad his anger means nothing to Daegun. In this world, results are all that matter. Kwon Daegun's immersion neural records show his calculation ability will cause his immersion levels to plummet, the girl analyzes. This means any enemy relying on drug enhancements will burn out quickly against him. In the end, they'll have to light the fire themselves. And that is the fundamental difference between them and Daegun. And the truth is revealed. The whole reason Daegun was sent to this school, this whole bully in charge project, it was all to protect a girl named Seo Jin. You knew everything? The shock in her eyes is palpable when she learns the truth. She thought she was just an ordinary student, never realizing she was in the eye of the storm. But it's not that simple. The girl's so-called confession was actually a way to pass him information. She had been secretly investigating the director, completely unaware of the dangerous enemy she was facing. Daegun's arrival gave her hope for the first time. Of course, everyone else just assumes they're a couple. The girl's younger brother, Seo Jin, was hospitalized because of the director and his cronies. This goes way beyond simple school bullying. This is organized crime. The seeds of hatred have long been planted in the girl's heart. Daegun tracks down his informant from the Gaption cult again, but the guy tries to beat around the bush. Stop beating around the bush. Daegun's patience has its limits. When words fail, he'll resort to the most primitive and effective method. Do I still have to sharpen you myself? Inside this organization, a brutal code is enforced. Failures are punished without mercy, their backs covered in bloody lashes. Here, weakness is the original sin. Driven by fear, everyone desperately claws their way to the top. We're ready. Let's go. With a single command from their leader, Wang Cho, this pack of tamed beasts moves out. Their objective, to eliminate any obstacle blocking the organization's plan. A purge is about to begin. Bottom feeders like you won't be treated like humans. No matter how much you yearn for it, no matter how much you shout to the world, it won't matter. They were stripped of their right to be human, but now they've been given a chance to at least die like one. But just like everything in this world, everyone can become a human. In this abyss of despair, Daegun's words are like a flicker of light. His goal isn't just to defeat his enemies, but to liberate these people from their twisted fate. The Gaption cult exploits these minors, making them do all kinds of dirty work. It's a cruel survival game. Out of 30 people, only a few will survive to become human. This isn't a cult anymore. It's a factory for creating monsters. Seo Jin's brother was one of the victims. Unable to bear it, he chose to end his own life. This blood debt completely changes the nature of the game. This isn't a mission anymore. It's vengeance. Isn't that the motto of the Bully in Charge project? A cold smirk plays on Daegun's lips. Fighting fire with fire, that's one of the few things I'm good at. It's hunting season. Daegun and his crew's safe house has been compromised. What's important is how that Loki Jang knew where to find us. A mole. The word hangs over them like a dark cloud. Inside the eye of the storm, the slightest bit of distrust can lead to a total collapse. In the higher-level power games, someone has declared the erasers will be disbanded. It's like scattering candy on the floor to keep everyone busy picking them up distracting them from the real game being played. A major reshuffling is underway. Do you think he's trying to start a fire in Taejun? Let him. The true masters of the game are never afraid of chaos. In fact, they create it, because only in chaos can the old order be broken and new opportunities arise. The fighting might be over for now, but life goes on. And when Cogn pushes open the bathroom door and sees a shirtless Daegun, the atmosphere instantly becomes awkward and charged. This battle-hardened girl, for the first time, looks completely flustered. For her protection, the organization decides Jin will stay with Daegun for a while. What? How can a man and a woman? Despite her strong objections, an order is an order. And so, a strange cohabitation life begins. I'll be sure to take them down. Jin's eyes are filled with determination. She's decided to fight alongside Daegun. Together, Daegun is a bit surprised. He's used to fighting alone, but now, it seems he's got an unexpected partner. However, rumors can be more dangerous than enemies. A lot of people are already mistaking us as a couple. The school gossip adds a layer of complexity to their relationship. What's a partnership forged in battle looks like a budding romance to everyone else. Meanwhile, Daegun's red-haired companion seems to be on a secret mission of his own. He finds Daegun, his expression serious. There's something I wanted to talk about as well. It looks like the peaceful days are over already. During this brief respite, the relationships between everyone are subtly shifting. Some are excited to return to school, while others watch silently from the sidelines. Beneath the calm surface, the undercurrent never stops churning. It's fine if you don't want to go to school, but you should eat your food. A sister's concern is just an annoyance to her brother. I'm in a bad mood, so stop talking to me. Teenage rebellion, mixed with unspoken pressures, has turned him into a walking powder keg. But the news that a friend named Suyak is coming over instantly lifts his spirits. MOM, make me some food. Suyak is coming over. The arrival of a friend seems to be the only bright spot in his otherwise gloomy life. And back at school, another queen, Beck Suzy, makes her grand return. As expected of the queen, her reappearance causes an immediate stir. But someone is snickering in the shadows. Is she no longer the queen now? Looks like this Game of Thrones for school supremacy just got a new major player. I heard he came to school with Cogn from Class 9 today. The news drops like a bomb among the gossip circles. Was the former queen, Beck Suzy, actually dumped? This plot twist is better than any TV drama. And just then, Suzy spots Daegun. A brief glance is all it takes to make her heart race and her breath catch. I just saw him briefly, but all her former composure and pride vanish, replaced by the nervousness of a girl with a crush. But what she sees is a text from her brother to Daegun, asking him to take care of her. What do you think you're doing? You crazy OPPA? Suzy is mortified and angry, and Daegun's reply, all right, I guess, just leaves her completely baffled. Does this guy have any clue about a girl's feelings? Meanwhile, at a convenience store, a new part-timer scares away the customers with his overly professional smile. Bro, did you retire from some assassin organization to experience normal life or something? Turns out, this smiling attendant is none other than Suzy's brother, Baek Soo-hyuk. He's reporting on a mission via radio. The target is missing. I'll find a chance to take care of him. A cold laugh comes from the other end. They say puppies know no fear. It seems everyone is wearing more than one mask. Inside the car, the back seat is filled with masked, knife-wielding killers. The tension is suffocating. And in the front seat, Soo-hyuk's expression is grim. Who are these people? A middle-aged man in a luxury car is stressing about his company's failed investments. Suddenly, a young man runs out in front of him. An old insurance scam trick? He gets out of the car, ready to teach the kid a lesson, completely unaware that he just picked a fight with the wrong guy. This young man is, of course, Kwon Daegun, out experiencing normal life. Faced with a group of thugs armed with bats, he doesn't even bother to dodge. Trying to pull such an old trick. In the next second, these thugs learn what real power feels like. Protect the president. The bodyguards rush in, but it makes no difference. Daegun is like a tiger among sheep, ending the fight effortlessly before making a cool exit, leaving behind a total mess and a crowd of stunned onlookers. Who on earth is this mysterious young man? Turns out, these guys were Daegun's target all along. He creates chaos with a fire extinguisher, then cuts through the confusion like a hot knife through butter, subduing everyone in an instant. His fighting style is always so unpredictable and so damn efficient. And on another front, members of the Gaption cult are making their move. Who the hell are you? They barge into a rival gang's hideout, interrupting their meal. Please put the food down and get up. I came here to hold a test. Arrogant, domineering, that's just how they roll. How dare a beggar from Gaption cult The guys on the other side clearly underestimate him, but they quickly pay the price for their arrogance. This gray-haired dude's fists are no joke. So don't strain it too much and get hurt like a dummy. The instructor gives them a practical lesson with a bloodstained knife. Everyone must experience violence firsthand until they become numb to it. This is what they call a test. All the clues point to a company called Biomo Construction. The director seems to be having secret meetings with them. The only reason these people in high places can act so mighty is because there are people like them down in the gutters, shedding blood on their behalf. The dirty water's gotten full. It's about time to change it out. A silver-haired man says coolly while combing his hair. It seems he plans to start a revolution from the very bottom to drag down everyone who sits on high. That's why we had to pull out all the stops. These people struggling in the mud have already abandoned everything just to survive. Their goal is simple: to drag the ones who think they're gods down from the heavens. Back at school, the legend of Daegun's heroic rescue is still spreading. Woe, a knight in shining armor. The girls' eyes are sparkling. But they don't know that this knight's armor was forged from violence and blood. However, the legend is quickly interrupted by a chubby cannonball. This dude launches himself at Suzy with incredible enthusiasm, and the result is getting kicked away. Seems like it takes more than just passion to get close to the queen. Kwon Daegun. At her most embarrassing moment, Suzy runs into the last person she wants to see. She just finished dealing with a pervert, still fuming. And when she looks up, she sees that familiar, indifferent face. I haven't seen you in a while. I was worried something happened. Suzy's concern slips out, but all she gets is a cold response. She feels like she's been shot through the heart with a bullet named indifference, a chilling sensation spreading through her. Misunderstanding and jealousy are like vines, tangling up their relationship. Daegun tries to explain, but Suzy isn't listening anymore. I have nothing to talk to you about. She turns and walks away, leaving him with nothing but her resolute back. To be honest, I have tons of things to tell you, but as someone who means nothing to you, there isn't a single thing I can say. Fighting back tears, Suzy thinks to herself, as proud as she is, this is the first time she's tasted the bitterness of unrequited love. I guess it'd be weird to be close to someone who beat up their brother. Daegun's inner monologue reveals the reason for his distance. He thinks he's protecting her, but he doesn't realize this coldness is hurting her even more. And then Soo-yeok's text makes everything even more complicated. Suzy likes Kwon Daegun. I'm sure Kwon Daegun feels the same too. This bro is playing matchmaker, trying to force them together. Daegun just stares at his phone, a headache coming on. And right then, a call comes in from the Gaption cult. The leaders of the Gaption cult are discussing their next move. They mention the founder of the Mud Club, Biomo, and his investor, the director. All roads lead to the same person. The director has always been like that. They seem to know his methods well, but his true motives remain a mystery. Before we make our move, we have to figure out what that something is. The game is at its midpoint. Every move must be made with caution. The calm before the storm is always so brief. While shadowy factions plot their next moves, our protagonist, Kwon Daegun, is living his normal life working at a convenience store. He's showing the new female coworker the ropes, with his own special brand of care. Looks like you've memorized the manual. Good. Now let's see your smile. That slightly threatening grin of his feels less like guidance and more like a declaration of dominance. Even something as simple as taking out the trash comes with rules. We go in pairs. The alleyways are full of bad kids. Every word drips with an undeniable sense of control. And speak of the devil, the bad kids show up right on cue. A few thugs smoking in the alley, whining about the lack of pretty girls. They spot Daegun, and the classic, "What the hell are you looking at?" line drops. Bro, they picked the wrong one. Daegun just gives them a cold side eye and a calm reminder. Keep the smoke out of the restaurant. That's all it takes. His sheer presence makes them fold instantly, scurrying away with apologies. This guy doesn't even need to throw a punch. Just by standing there, he's at the top of the food chain. But real trouble always finds you when you least expect it. A man in glasses and suspenders emerges from the shadows, his fake smile sending a chill down your spine. Well, my dear hubby, long time no see. Look at you now. That condescending tone instantly ignites the rage Daegun has been suppressing. His peaceful routine is shattered, and the ghosts of his past are back. This man, he's one of them, a member of the organization that dragged him into this mess. Fragments of memory flash back. This man's cold face. Wanted to have a conversation? Right. I suppose I forgot that conversation is different for a beast. The metal rings in his hands hint at a brutal kind of discipline. The female colleague's terrified eyes witness it all. Yes, this man represents that dark organization, the one that packages violence as education. The Daegun of the past was disciplined just like that. Even when sent flying, the defiance in his eyes never died. But this time, the man doesn't seem to want to fight. He just watches Daegun with that mocking smile, as if observing an amusing exhibit. And Daegun switches between rage and restraint. A ferocious beast one moment, then gentle with his colleague the next. This contradiction is proof of his struggle. Stop smiling and come back inside. The colleague's concern breaks the standoff. But the man in glasses erupts in laughter behind them, a sound full of malice and control. Daegun's expression turns to ice. He knows it. The brief moment of peace is over. The hunters have found his trail. Relax, I'm not here to fight, just to talk. The man says it so casually. The boss isn't mad anymore. He's even willing to give you another chance. We're short-staffed, and you're perfect for some simple work. This isn't an invitation. It's an order. He's using the gentlest tone to deliver the most undeniable command. Being born poor isn't a crime, but dying poor is. That toxic motivational quote is his final ultimatum. Come to the Gaption cult tomorrow. He even probes for information about the guy who once defeated Daegun. Every step is part of the organization's calculation. And our boy seems to be out of options. Meanwhile, at the Gaption Orphanage, the cult's headquarters, something is brewing. Two core members are in a tense, secret meeting. And just outside the door, a mysterious figure in a hoodie appears. The winds are picking up. New players are about to enter the game. But another thread of the story is buzzing with the energy of youth. Back at school, a group of girls are fawning over a handsome upperclassman. The guy in the photo is radiating charm, making their hearts flutter. This light-hearted campus life is a world away from the darkness Daegun inhabits. As her friends tease her about her ideal type, Susie's mind can't help but drift to someone else. That tall, kind of childish him? Even Susie herself is surprised. This feeling was definitely not part of her plan. Students outside are whispering about Kwon Daegun, and Susie's heart is in a knot. Why is Kwon Daegun so special? She doesn't know the answer either. Was it just because he's handsome that she accidentally called him Appa? No, she tells herself no way. But the feeling, it's too real to ignore. And all of this is being watched by a loyal follower of Susie's brother, Baek Suhyuk. He can't believe it. Just when Suhyuk finally gave Kwon Daegun his seal of approval, Susie is acting like this. Elsewhere, Daegun is walking Susie home, the atmosphere thick with unspoken feelings. A storm is brewing around them, and they're right in the eye of it. Predictably, trouble follows. Suhyuk's lackeys corner them, accusing Daegun of trying to jump ships and betray them. And further in the shadows, someone is watching from behind a newspaper. The headline screams, "Kwon Daegun, you damned bastard." It seems more than one faction has their eyes on him. The watchers whisper among themselves, determined to get hard evidence of Daegun's two-timing. And just then, a familiar figure appears. The judo girl who once fought alongside Daegun, now watching him with a storm of complicated emotions. She looks at Daegun and Susie, her eyes filled with resentment and jealousy. For a bookworm, she just can't understand it. In her memories, they trained together. He once carried her in his arms. She thought she was the special one. I'm back now, aren't I? She asks herself, her heart aching with the sting of abandonment. The heart of a teenage girl, so complex, so fragile. When Daegun finally finds her, she pushes him away coldly. I have nothing to talk to you about. But the moment she turns her back, regret hits her like a truck. Did she play hard to get a little too hard? What if he never speaks to her again? Just as she's secretly wiping away tears, Daegun notices. This isn't crying of sadness, but anger, she retorts, but her tough words can't hide her vulnerability. An accidental touch, her tie brushing against his arm, hits Daegun like a jolt of electricity. Looking at the girl's shy yet provocative gaze, our battle-hardened bully in charge is actually blushing. The screen floods with hearts and flowers, announcing his total surrender. The tough guy's armor has finally been breached by a girl's charm. But tender moments are fleeting. Just as the romantic tension peaks, disaster strikes. The girl is violently shoved against a wall, then ambushed from behind. Before Daegun can even apologize, a loud slap lands on the attacker's face. But in the next second, the girl collapses in pain too. A white van screeches to a halt, and the girl is forcefully dragged inside. The kidnappers are ruthless. Calm her down. Just slice her somewhere. That'll shut her up real quick. Their chilling words spell out the danger she's in. This isn't high school bullying anymore. This is real crime. The storm has officially arrived. Meanwhile, Baek Suhyuk's lackey is still desperately trying to dig up dirt on Daegun, convinced he's a player and vowing to protect Susie. But by the time he learns Susie's been kidnapped, it's too late. Damn it, I can't lose Susie to that Kwon Daegun bastard. His obsession made him miss what was truly important. In the shadows, another high-ranking member of the Gaption cult, Baek Suyak, is meeting with his superior. Long time no see. How's work? As long as it pays well. Their conversation is short and cold, a transaction of money and interests. Baek Suyak, the former king of the schoolyard, is now just another pawn in the organization. His superior relentlessly provokes him, mocking him for losing to Kwon Daegun in a child's play schoolyard squabble. But Suyak remains silent, his face a mask. This silence isn't submission. He's conserving a deeper strength. He's waiting for an opportunity. During their talk, they mention Suyak's sister, Suzy, referring to her as number 0. When Kwon Daegun's name comes up, Suyak's silence makes them suspicious. They deduce there must be a connection between Daegun and number 0. The direction of this entire game seems to revolve around this girl. At the kidnapping site, Suzy is being brutally tied up. The ones carrying out the orders are just kids themselves, boys who look like they're still in school. They're clearly from the orphanage, used as tools by the organization. Suzy's terror and their numbness create a chilling contrast. Don't you know you've been kidnapped? Suzy's angry shouts only make the boys more aggressive. We'll let you go later, so please let us tie you up. They say, please, but their actions are merciless. And just then, a tall figure approaches from a distance. The true mastermind has arrived. The newcomer is a hulking, silver-haired man. He recognizes Suzy instantly. Suyak's little sister. Since you know him, why don't you call him yourself? His tone is dripping with sarcasm and provocation. His motive for kidnapping Suzy is crystal clear. It's bait. You're scared, aren't you? The silver-haired man grins, savoring the fear on his prey's face. But Suzy unexpectedly calms down. I don't have any business with Suyak. If I did, I'd go see him directly. Her words catch him off guard. This girl, she's tougher than he thought. Good. Suzy's gaze sharpens. She lifts her head, looking her enemy straight in the eye. Beck Suzy. If you're looking for Kwon Daegun, you're not just barking up the wrong tree. She pauses, a cold smirk playing on her lips. You're punching at thin air. In this moment, she's no longer the little sister who needs protection. She's Baek Suyak's family, with the same unyielding blood flowing through her veins. At the same time, back at Daegun's place, his guardian is worried about his connection to the cult. And right then, Daegun's phone rings. The caller ID, Baek Suzy. He stares at the screen, his brow furrowed. A terrible feeling washes over him. He answers. It's Suzy's panicked voice. Can you come rescue me? On her end, the kidnappers are getting impatient. Kidnap. Daegun's face darkens instantly. He knows this is a trap meant for him, and he has to walk right into it. Didn't you say you had nothing to say to me? And now you're playing these obvious tricks. Daegun's voice is cold, as if he's angry. Suzy tries to explain, but he snatches the phone from her hand and hangs up. Give it here. His actions are swift and decisive, leaving Suzy stunned. He's not angry. He's protecting her in his own way. The silver-haired man on the other end is furious. You fucking bastard. Do you really not care what will happen to your girl? He roars into the phone, threatening to tear Suzy to pieces. But the only reply is the dial tone. He hung up? Is this guy crazy? The kidnappers are dumbfounded. And Suzy, with tears in her eyes, is filled with disappointment. She thought he would come. With the plan failed, the silver-haired man has no choice but to report to his superior. On the other end of the line is the cold voice of the man in glasses. It seems he anticipated this outcome. This whole kidnapping, it was just a test. Didn't I tell you to focus on your assigned task? Stop doing unnecessary thinking. The man in glasses roars into the phone, his plans seemingly disrupted. He mentions the director is coming soon, and the entire organization's atmosphere becomes incredibly tense. It seems a bigger fish, someone of higher rank, is about to enter the fray personally. The call ends, and the silver-haired man is seething. Don't you dare compare me to that puppet Baek Suyak. I'm one of the leaders. He unleashes his fury on the boys from the orphanage. Meanwhile, Suzy calmly talks to the boys, trying to break through their psychological defenses. Do your parents know you're doing this? We don't have parents. Their simple reply silences Suzy. These kids, they're victims too. The silver-haired man returns, utterly displeased with their performance. Didn't I tell you to call him over? He's not picking up anymore. His patience has run out. In his rage, the man starts beating the boys. You think you're here to play? He vents all his frustration on these weaker kids. This is the law of the organization's jungle. The strong devour the weak. No reason, no mercy. Suzy can't watch anymore. She rushes to stop him. Stop it. Why are you hitting the kids? She tries to protect them, only to be shoved aside. And just then, a new, more sinister plan seems to form in the silver-haired man's mind. Get her phone, he commands. He turns on the camera, aiming it at the terrified, bound Suzy. Just like that, he says with a triumphant smile. Start the stream. If the phone call didn't work, he'll use a more direct, more brutal method to force his target to show up. They plan to film a humiliating video of Suzy to send to Kwon Daegun. Hurry up, we don't have much time, the man urges. He's even about to get involved himself. But just as he's about to make his move, he freezes. You're all dead later. There's no need for that. His tone shifts, because he can feel it. A powerful presence is approaching. A figure descends from the sky like a phantom. A swift, powerful kick sends one of the kidnappers flying. Suzy watches in horror, while the silver-haired man breaks into a savage grin. The one he's been waiting for has finally arrived. Kwon Daegun is here. He's panting, but his eyes are burning with fury. Why? Why did it have to be real? He had hoped this was all just a sick joke, but the scene before him shatters any lingering hope. On the other end of the line, Soo-hyuk's lackey is still desperately pleading with Daegun to save her. Suzy, can I leave her to you? He finally lets go of his prejudice, because he knows, right now, only Daegun can save her. Daegun doesn't answer, but his actions speak louder than words. Daegun calmly hangs up and sends a location. He didn't contact Soo-hyuk. Instead, he reached out to someone he trusts. He knows Soo-hyuk is in no position to help right now. This is a fight he has to face alone. Will it be all right for Daegun to go? We have no choice but to trust him. From the safety of their base, his allies are holding their breath for him. They know this is the best chance to get intel on the Gaption cult, but the price might be Daegun's life. Daegun has to face all of this by himself. His guardian's voice is heavy. She knows this is a destiny he cannot escape. As the designated bully, he must fight in the darkness until he finds a path of his own. Back to the scene. The silver-haired man sees Daegun and laughs maniacally. He really did come. Suzy looks at that familiar figure, a mix of emotions swirling inside her. I told you he would, she thinks. She has a strange, unshakable faith in him. What? You called me here, not even knowing what I looked like. Daegun's voice is laced with contempt. That blatant disrespect wipes the smile right off the silver-haired man's face. To tell you the truth, I don't exactly know what's going on either, the man admits. Just wanted to see what this Kwon Daegun looks like, call you here, beat you up a bit, and ask some questions. This casual, dismissive attitude infuriates everyone present. But to the silver-haired man, this is all just a game. Then at least get my bag from me, Daegun says coldly. He looks at the orphanage kids, not with anger, but with a calm resolve. And the silver-haired man, who claims to be the organization's number 3, is still rambling on, comparing him to Baek Soo-hyuk. He has no idea what kind of monster he's facing. None of you have the basic courtesy to listen to the person talking, the man is still yelling. The next second, Daegun's fist is already planted on his face. No warning, no wasted motion. Just pure speed and power. One punch and the fight begins. No, scratch that. The one-sided beatdown begins. Number 3 goes down like a sack of bricks. Daegun doesn't even bother to give him a second glance. So, what do I have to do now for you guys to release her? He stands there, hands in his pockets, as if he just swatted a fly. He shouldn't be the only thing you guys had, right? His tone is filled with absolute confidence and crushing pressure. The fight ends so fast, no one can process it. Suzy looks at Daegun, her feelings a tangled mess. It's fine, since you came, but I still don't understand. She doesn't get why he chose the most dangerous path when he could have handled it so easily. Daegun doesn't explain. He's just thinking. Why did they target Suzy and not her brother, Baek Soo-hyuk? There's only one answer. They knew Soo-hyuk couldn't come. A flash of memory of Soo-hyuk being defeated confirms it, right? This organization's intelligence network is far more terrifying than he imagined. They weren't being stupid. They precisely targeted his only weakness. Immersion. The word surfaces in Daegun's mind. It's a state of combat, a zone where he can predict his opponent's every move. He's reached it before, but it required extreme focus. And now, he feels like he's found the key to enter that state again. Meanwhile, back at base, his allies are analyzing the intel. The Gaption cult is spreading something called mud in the underworld, and they're experimenting on the rats they can't control. The rats they speak of are the abandoned orphans from the cult. The cruelty of this organization is beyond imagination. Then there shouldn't be any issue if I run a few more tests on them, right? Daegun's words shock his allies. You can do as you please. They know that once Daegun gets serious, he becomes a true demon. The test is about to begin. He walks towards the fallen number 3. Can you see it? He asks. How much? Suzy watches him, confused, feeling a presence that is both familiar and alien. This aura, it reminds her of her brother. The silver-haired man has no idea what he's talking about. But in his mind's eye, Daegun's attack trajectory, his own possible counters, all potential outcomes, they're all playing out like a movie. This is the power of immersion, a terrifying ability to turn combat into a mathematical equation. No, Daegun's vision becomes crystal clear. I can see it for sure. The path. Before the words even leave his mouth, his fist has already found its target. This time, it's no longer a test. He has seen the one and only path to victory, and he's going to walk it in the most devastating way possible. Once I figure out how it works, I just have to use it. Daegun's body moves like a fine-tuned killing machine. Every action is precise, deadly. Every attack from his opponent is now just a glaring opening in his eyes. The silver-haired man is completely overwhelmed. He can see Daegun's attacks coming, but he can't dodge them. Every devastating blow is a declaration of the insurmountable gap between them. It's so unbelievably clear. If I can't dodge this, I'd be a dumbass, the man screams in his head. But his body, it just can't keep up with his mind. Just what in the world is this feeling? He has never felt so powerless in a fight. The fight devolves into a one-sided slaughter. The silver-haired man is kicked around like a soccer ball, completely helpless. The onlooking boys are petrified. This is Kwon Daegun's true power. Once unleashed, it's a catastrophe. Is that all you can do? How disappointing. Bring out everything you're hiding. The man tries to taunt Daegun into showing more. But he doesn't realize Daegun isn't hiding anything anymore. The smile playing on his lips is the last shred of pity for the weak. I always was, he whispers. The boys watching are in complete despair. We're screwed whether we win or lose. They realize they've just been caught in a battle between gods. And Susie is pondering a question. The weak are treated as weak. Is that just how reality works? What the fuck are you smiling at? The silver-haired man's roar is cut short by Daegun's fist. What follows is pure violent art. Every strike lands precisely on his opponent's weakest points. What kind of speed is this? The man's consciousness begins to fade. The strength and experience he was so proud of are like paper in front of Daegun. I don't know what's going on, the man mutters, beaten to his knees. He simply cannot comprehend what kind of being this boy in front of him is. But compared to before, he feels totally different. The man finally realizes it. He has awakened a sleeping lion. And now, that lion is about to tear him to shreds. Yes, this is it. Finally, in the midst of the brutal beating, the man actually starts to look like he's enjoying it. He's a battle maniac. What he craved was a fight that made him feel the threat of death. He's finally getting serious. But Daegun's smile tells him it's all over. This bastard, he did it on purpose, the man understands. Daegun intentionally took his hits just to completely shatter his will. This isn't just a gap in power. It's a total defeat in psychological warfare. You should have been able to dodge it. The man asks, unwilling to accept his defeat. But Daegun answers him with a vicious sidekick. Dodge? Why would I dodge? Not when I can crush you head on. Why is it different from the pathing I'm seeing? The man finally discovers the secret of immersion. He can see the path of the attack, but Daegun can change that path in an instant. This isn't prediction. This is creating new possibilities in the heat of battle. Immersion? Fuck off, it's totally useless. The man roars on the verge of a breakdown. He thought he understood, but in reality, he's worlds away from the true state. Daegun's final blow shatters what's left of his pride. Wait, time out. His plea for mercy is drowned out by Daegun's relentless assault. This fight never had a pause button to begin with. The battle is over. Kwon Daegun stands in the center of the carnage, like a king surveying his conquered land. He remembers his past, always living as prey. The fear of being dominated, he never wants to feel that again. His companion looks at him, eyes filled with a complex mix of emotions. It's over already? These guys are weaker than the ones from before. Daegun's tone is casual, as if he just finished some trivial chore. You're getting strong a bit too fast. At this rate, won't you end up winning against me? His friend's teasing words remind Daegun of his former self. The boy who knelt on the ground, told to live as prey. No, he thinks, but I'm not running away anymore. That is his answer. He is no longer the prey to be slaughtered. He will become the hunter and snuff out every threat before it can even grow. He pins the last enemy under his foot, the motion clean and absolute. Everyone around is stunned into silence. This is Kwon Daegun, the designated bully who walks in darkness. Everyone is talking about immersion this, immersion that, but that's not what immersion is. He grabs the enemy's collar, his voice like ice. His understanding of immersion is far deeper and far more brutal than any of them can imagine. In the streets, this is what's normal, he roars, slamming his opponent into the ground. You're not done yet. His eyes tell everyone that as long as he's standing, this fight isn't over. He turns this display of power into a public execution. Every move tells his enemies that the gap between them is as wide as the heavens and the earth. The boy watching is too scared to even speak. The fight ends in the most humiliating way possible. The silver-haired man is utterly broken, physically and mentally. Kwon Daegun has defended his dignity with the most primitive form of violence. Isn't he just toying with him? The onlookers finally get it. This isn't a fight. It's a game of cat and mouse. And Kwon Daegun is the cruelest cat. Why are you looking at me with such kind eyes now? The fallen man asks, confused. Daegun scoffs. Machines usually start working again after you hit them a couple of times. Should I try hitting you some more? And at that moment, at the orphanage gate, the man in glasses and his crew are anxiously looking for this very broken machine. Daegun's presence puts pressure on everyone. The boy they once saw as a mere tool has now grown into something they can no longer control. The phone rings, and an order from the other end makes the situation even more complicated. After the fight, Suzy looks at Daegun and feels a familiar aura. This feeling, it's similar to what I felt from my brother. She finally understands. What drew her to him wasn't just his looks, but that powerful, lonely essence he carries. My brother only becomes truly terrifying when it comes to me. Because I am his only weakness, Suzy thinks. So, the reason I called Kwon Daegun Appa without hesitation is because I felt the same thing from him. A resolve to do anything and everything to protect someone important. She even regrets trying to keep him under her thumb like all the other guys. But she knows if she had been more aggressive, he would have stepped on her without hesitation, putting her in her place. This dangerous charm, she's hopelessly drawn to it. I want to know, what is Kwon Daegun's weakness? What made him so scary? The observing boy is filled with questions. But Daegun just steps on his enemy's head and leaves without a word. His world doesn't require explanation to anyone. Just like how my brother became strong out of fear for my safety, someone as strong as you, what could you possibly fear? Suzy thinks to herself, if she can figure that out, maybe she can make him not be afraid. As her mind wanders, Suyok's lackey suddenly appears, startling her out of her thoughts. The remaining stragglers are no longer a threat. One of them even pulls a knife, but in the face of Daegun's overwhelming power, any weapon is just a useless toy. Wait. Suzy tries to stop him, but Daegun just looks coldly at the boy with the knife. A child holding a blade is no longer a child, he says under his breath. If one is willing to harm the life of others, they should expect no less in return. His words leave Suzy utterly speechless. You just have to show them the difference in power. Someone had taught him that in the past. Violence solves everything. But Daegun seems to have found a different answer now. It doesn't matter even if you deny it. Your body will tell the truth. He smirks in the rain, as if mocking the very rules of this world. The storm subsides. Daegun approaches Suzy, asking if she's okay. The sudden gentleness catches her off guard. A cold-blooded demon 1 second, the boy who makes her heart race the next. He is a walking, lethal contradiction. Are you okay? His usual demeanor puts Suzy at ease. But she doesn't know, this storm was just the beginning. A much larger game has already begun in the shadows. The scene cuts to a lavish restaurant. A middle-aged man with a beard, the organization's director, is having dinner with a mysterious woman. And Daegun stands behind him like a loyal bodyguard. Why here, instead of the orphanage? Daegun asks, confused. What's there to talk about in a stuffy place like that? The director says with disdain. His conversation with Daegun is filled with the arrogance of a superior. You uneducated thing. Who taught you to interrupt? His subordinate scolds Daegun. Here, Daegun is nothing but a tool. Daegun reports to the director on the distribution of the mud. The organization's network has infiltrated every corner of society. He asks the director why he's suddenly restarting these underground dealings. The director's answer is cryptic. Proper is good, sure. The director looks at Daegun, his gaze profound. But sometimes, to achieve a goal, you must use any means necessary. And you are my finest instrument. He gives Daegun a new mission, one far more dangerous and bloody than before. He brings up the bloody history of the Guryong Foundation, hinting at the brutality of this new task. Daegun simply accepts the order. He's used to this life. Or rather, he has no way out. While killing the tiger and skinning it, I felt sorry for the cub, so I decided to let it be. The director suddenly tells a story. But even when it acts like a harmless bunny, it's still a tiger. Who knows when she'll bare her fangs at me? Especially when I'm wearing her grandpa's skin. His gaze falls upon the woman beside him. And that woman is none other than the granddaughter of the Guryong Foundation's founding chairman, Lee Ji-Ryong, the same guardian who wears an apron and seems harmless back at Daegun's home. It turns out, She's the biggest wild card in this entire game. A tiger cub who was stripped of everything, biding her time until now.